I'm going to make a second video about finding the equation of a line if you're given 2 points. But this time I'm going to make the problem a little harder. I'm going to make it so that the rate of change is a fraction, because fractions are always more difficult than whole numbers. So let's look at another example, given 2 points, and we want to find the equation of the line. Here are my 2 points. I have the point 3, 7, the point 6, 11, and I'm going to use the formula to find the slope or the rate of change. M is just the letter we use for rate of change. So we need to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if it helps you, you can put these numbers into a table of values so you can see what you're doing. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my second y, subtract my first y. So 11 minus 7. And then my second x, subtract my first x, so 6 subtract 3. So I have 11 subtract 7 and 6 subtract 3. 11 subtract 7 is 4, and 6 subtract 3 is 3. Now, this question becomes hard or difficult now, because 4 divided by 3 is not a nice number. If I use my calculator, 4 divided by 3 is 1.3333333333, and that's not something nice that I want to put into an equation. So that means I want to keep my 4 over 3. So I'm going to use this equation, y is equal to mx plus b. Remember, that's just the same as y is equal to rate of change times x plus initial value. M stands for rate of change, b stands for initial value. So what I want to do is, since I don't want a big long decimal in my equation, I'm going to keep the fraction. So I'm going to have y is equal to 4 over 3 x plus b. And I want to find the b. So we're going to do the exact same things we normally do, just today we're dealing with fractions. So I'm going to take, for example, my 3 and my 7. My 3 is x, my 7 is y. So I'm going to cross off my x and put a 3. I'm going to cross off my y and put a 7. So that means I'm going to have 7 equals to 4 over 3 times 3 plus b. Now, the nice thing is here, I'm going to end up eliminating my fractions, because 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is just 4. So I really am not going to have a fraction. I had a fraction at the beginning, but it's going to all cancel out, because this 3 dividing by 3 and this 3 multiplying by 3 cancel out. So I'm left with 7 is equal to 4 plus b, which means my b is equal to 7 minus 4. My b is equal to 3. And that means b is the initial value. That means my equation is going to be y is equal to, jumping 4 over 3 every x, and it starts at 3. Now, if I wanted to make a table of values for that, we know it starts at 3. And remember that when we have the rate of change, the number on top of the fraction tells you how the y's jump. The number on the bottom of the fraction tells you how the x's jump. The number on the top of the fraction is for y's. The number on the bottom of the fraction is for x's. So that means that my y's jump 4 and my x's jump 3. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 0 plus 3 is 3. We can jump by 4 and jump by 3 again. 7 plus 4 is 11. 3 plus 3 is 6. Keep going. 11 plus 4 is 15. 6 plus 3 is 9. So this would be a table of values for this equation, and this equation would go through 3, 7, and it would go through 6, 11. Let's try one more before the end of this video. So this time I'm going to end up with fractions with my slope, and in this example, the fractions aren't going to cancel out, so I'll have to keep the fractions for the whole question. So again, let's do our slope formula. Our slope formula says we have to do y2 minus y1. So 11 minus 7 over x2 minus x1, 8 minus 5. So I end up with 4 over 3. I end up with the same slope as last time. So I'm going to use my equation, y is equal to mx plus b. My marker is running out. So my m or my slope, or my rate of change is 4 over 3. So I have y is equal to 4 over 3x plus b. Now what does that mean? It means I know my rate of change, I don't know my initial value. So I want to plug in a point. So I can plug in my 5 for x and my y for 7, or I can plug in my 8 for x and my 11 for y. It doesn't matter which one you pick, you'll get the same answer. So let's make our x 5 and let's make our y 7. Now, this time, if I go 4 times 5 divided by 3, that does not get rid of the fraction. 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 divided by 3 does not give you a nice number. So here you have to keep your fractions. So I have 4 over 3 times 5 over 1 plus b. 7 is equal to 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 1 is 3 plus b. And what we want to do is we want to get our initial value by itself. So I need to move my 20 over 3 to the other side. This can be some complicated or difficult math if you struggle with fractions. So we're going to need to practice our fractions. So we want to take this and move it to the other side. So I end up with 7 minus 20 over 3 is equal to b. But we need a common denominator to subtract fractions. So this right now has a 1 underneath it. I can multiply this by 3. Multiply this by 3, we get 21 over 3 minus 20 over 3 means that our b is actually equal to 1 over 3. Now, this math is not great because really my equal signs should all be in a row and the math should continue down the page, but I ran out of page. So we know over here our b is 1 over 3, which means our equation, we have our m, we have our b. Our equation is y equals, it's jumping 4 over 3x, and it starts at 1 over 3. So this is an example like the previous ones, but this time it's more complicated because my initial value and my rate of change are both fractions.